Oh, hello. Welcome to 133N, the interdomain course on the ethics of climate change. My name is John Brockup, and this is Goldie, and I'll be your guide through this class. I'm a professor of history, religious studies, and philosophy, an expert on early Islamic legal manuscripts. I'm not an expert on climate change science, and it's not my job here to be the expert in the room. It's my job to be your guide as we go through what I think is one of the most important topics facing the future of humanity today. I am a climate change activist. You can discover that pretty easily if you look at my Google profile on the web. But this is not a partisan class, and I'm not expecting any particular views from you about climate change. I understand that some of you are Republicans and some are Democrats, and some of you are quite passionate about your views. Some of you may think that climate change is a hoax. All these views are welcome in this class, and it's not my job to change those. But what it is my job to help you articulate your views and to make arguments based on evidence, particularly on peer-reviewed science. But this class is much more than about the science of climate change. The far harder part, in my view, is being able to articulate the values that we hold dear, the future of what we want the world to be. In fact, this is one of the reasons why I helped to design this course, because I believe that climate change is not only in your future, but it's the responsibility of the university to prepare you for that future. There is no way this is going to be resolved by one political party or another, or by one country or another. This is a problem facing the entire world, and we need, most of all, to be able to talk to one another about this common problem facing humanity. And so we will be focusing on articulating our values, our vision for the world, and understanding how that fits in the realm of other people's values. So not only do you have to learn to talk about what you think is important, you have to learn to listen to what other people think is important. In this introductory video, I'm going to lay out for you the requirements of the class, which have changed substantially because of the pandemic, and all of the different things that we're going to try to do during this semester together. I want to emphasize one thing most of all, that while I'll not see you in person, I want to be as available to you as possible, and I want to help you in any way I can to make it through this class and to make it through this semester. So please do not hesitate to contact me, and the best way to do that is through email, either through Canvas or simply brockup@psu.edu. I will also be having office hours right after class on Monday and Wednesdays on our common Zoom URL for this class. So if you have time to stay after class on Mondays and Wednesdays, I will always be here for another hour to be able to discuss whatever you need to do in this class to be successful. So go through this video, review some of the things that I cover here a couple of times, and feel well prepared for this class, and I look forward to talking with you in person on Wednesday, January 20th. Okay, so let's talk about the organization of the class. I'm going to go through a few things that are on the syllabus, but please do have a look at the syllabus. There's a lot of material there and specific detail that you want to refer to. You can either find it on Canvas or you can actually print out a version with the link on Canvas. What you'll see there is that the class is organized into 3 units. The first unit focuses on the science, the second on the ethics, and the third on the solutions. but this is an integrated class. So we're going to start actually by talking about values. And as we're talking about the science, we'll be talking about ethical issues along the way. And certainly the scientific issues do not go away once we start talking about the ethics. So we have these focuses for each of the unit, but remember, everything will be integrated over time. That said, I understand there are going to be science majors among you who are looking for a general humanities credit that's going to be easier. And maybe you're a little afraid of writing. The same thing goes for those of you who are humanities focused, who are really comfortable with writing, but kind of nervous about science and maybe don't remember what chemical equations are. This class is for you. It really is meant to be an introductory class, both in science and in humanities. And the fact is that I think these things need to be more integrated anyway, because it's very hard for us, and I think the scientists among you will find this too, to think about the science of climate change in all the different aspects of sciences that it encounters. It's chemistry, it's geosciences, it's also biology. So many of the different sciences are involved in thinking about climate change. And in fact, humanities and science were historically bound up with one another. And we'll be talking a lot about that. And I, as a historian, tend to take this history of science approach to science. So you have these three units: science, ethics, and solutions. And each of these units then has requirements in there. So for the science section, there will be 2 quizzes and then an exam at the end of that first unit. For the ethics section, there will be, again, 2 quizzes and then a project, a discussion project that will involve you and a group of people, and you'll be writing up your assessment of that discussion. And then for the third unit, there's just 1 quiz, but then there will be a negotiation project at the end where we'll do a mock Paris climate negotiation. And then there's a final exam. So when you put it all together, the exams and the quizzes make up about 50% of the grade. The written assignments make up about 40% of the grade, and then 10% comes from a participation grade. Now, I cannot grade you on attendance. It's just not possible given the Zoom structure and the synchronous and asynchronous elements of this class. But the participation grade will be based on some shorter written assignments that you produce in Perusall, and also some of your engagement with Perusall. Okay, so what is Perusall? Perusall is where the readings are for this class. I know, it's a pain. You've got a third-party app that's not really integrated into Canvas, although I hope it will be later in the semester. It requires you to sign up, and there is a video, an easy introductory video to tell you how to do that. You have then the chance to purchase the books on a Perusall, and there are 2 books for this class that are required. The Richard Alley, Earth, the Operator's Manual is one of them. And then the second is a 21st Century Ethical Toolbox by Anthony Weston. So both of these you must purchase through Perusall, and then it creates an e-reader for you with a place there to insert comments and to ask questions. I think once you get used to this, you'll really like it. And in this situation where we don't have everybody present and we don't have centralized bookstores, it really is the fairest for everybody. So you'll all have the same version of this. There won't be problems with different page numberings or chapter headings or this sort of thing. So again, I'm sorry, it's part of the pandemic. You're welcome, but we're going to make the best of this and to do it together. So on perusal, then, you'll have the chance to make these comments and to engage in discussion. And if all goes well, which it won't, you're going to have a group of 10 people in your research pod, and that will be the same group that you'll have in breakout sessions on Zoom. And you'll be able to work with these others in your class on a more concentrated basis. That's how we're going to make this work with 100 people on Zoom. There's no way we can have discussions. But you'll be having some of these discussions in your research group, and then bring those to a larger conversation in very particular scripted ways. So, to summarize, there are two major modifications we're making to this class because of the pandemic. The first is this, flipped classroom, where you'll have videos that you can review in advance of class, and you can also go back and look at them later. I'll have them all uploaded onto my YouTube channel, so you'll have access to these throughout the semester. And in this flipped classroom, then, our classroom time will be devoted to a lot of the things that you would normally do as homework. So you'll have a chance to work with your research groups, to ask questions, and then to bring those questions back to us in class. When we have guest speakers, and we're going to have a lot of wonderful guest speakers in this class, you will be watching their presentations often in advance, and then class time will be devoted to questions and answers with those guest speakers. So I think you'll find this really exciting and enjoyable, and I hope that you really make an effort to participate. That said, this is not my first rodeo. I know how things go. I realize that for some of you, you're just trying to get through and just trying to pass this class. The way I look at grading, it should be relatively easy for you to pass this class without a lot of effort. If you just do the basic things required for this class, you should be able to make it through. But for those of you who are really much more engaged and interested in the subject, there's going to be a lot of benefit for you to be engaged. And I will do my part. I will try my best to keep this class engaging and interesting and innovative so that you'll want to be a part of it all. As I said, I think that this is one of the most important issues facing us today, and I mean to provide you with some of the tools to be able to participate in the decisions that will be made both now and in the future. So the first modification is the flipped classroom. The second modification is perusal. And again, you are required to sign up for perusal on this, to purchase the textbooks there on perusal, and then to make comments. There's not only going to be these two textbooks there, but lots of other readings and videos, and all of that will be there for you to access in one place for this class, all organized day by day throughout the semester. In terms of grading, I want to mention that I will have the assistance of two philosophy graduate students. There is Michelle Meeks and Gerald Nelson. They are graduate students here at Penn State, but they are not TAs. So while you may see them around from time to time in your breakout rooms, if you have any questions or comments, please do bring those to me. Again, the best way to contact me is either email through Canvas or directly brockup@psu.edu. I have to say also, it's going to be a lot easier to cheat in this class than in a normal class. Many of you, I really won't have the opportunity to get to know very well, and you're probably pretty clever in figuring out ways around the various issues with online exams and quizzes. But think about it, it's an ethics class. Do you really want to cheat your way to a passing grade in ethics? I would encourage you not to do that. And
really to ask of you to try your best to get through the class. If you're having difficulties, if there are truly problems that you're facing, please contact me. It will be a lot easier for me to respond to whatever issues you're facing if you let me know in advance. I will be happy to extend any kind of accommodation to you that will make things work. And please have patience with me. This is my first time trying to run a class this way. I don't really know what we're going to be facing this semester. So we can guarantee that things will not always work. But how we get through that and solutions, I could really use some understanding and patience from you as well. With goodwill on both our sides, I think we'll have an excellent learning experience. So again, to summarize, there are 3 sections to the class. We begin with science, we move to ethics, and then we talk about solutions. In the science section, there will be 2 quizzes and an exam for that section. In the ethics section, there'll be 2 more quizzes and a discussion project that you'll write up. And then in the final section, the solutions section, there'll be 1 more quiz. There'll be a negotiation project that we'll all do together. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then a final exam. I encourage you not to get too worried about those things coming down later in the semester, the discussion project, the negotiation, and the final exam. Let's focus right now on what's coming up, on the class for Wednesday. So again, for Wednesday's class, the very first class, we're going to get started right away by you going into your discussion groups, to the breakout rooms in Zoom. So we'll come together all as a class on Wednesday. I'll put you into those breakout rooms. And in those breakout rooms, I want you to focus on the video clips that I provide for you, as well as the 2 paintings that I want you to take a look at. It'll really help a lot if you look at these in advance. In your breakout rooms, and I'll mention this again on Wednesday, the first job is to introduce yourselves to one another and take some time. Talk to one another about your areas of interest, why you took this class, how it might fit into your studies at Penn State or to other things that you're involved in. Get to know one another because you'll be in these research groups for the entire semester. And then take a look at those video clips and those paintings. And the focus should be on the values that are being expressed. What's important to these people? And try to, of course, look at exactly what they're saying in the videos, focus on specific words, and in the paintings, focus on particular images. What do you think is happening, and try to make an argument on the basis of evidence, exact evidence in the words or in the images that you're seeing. I want you to designate one person in your group as the spokesperson for that group. And that person then will come back, and they should be prepared to have their video turned on. They should come back then to our discussion as a whole, outside of the breakout rooms, in which point then I'll be going room by room and asking each person, each representative, to present a question or a comment for us to discuss in the remaining minutes of class. So that's where we'll run our first class. I expect you to have looked at this video, to have taken a look at the syllabus, and hopefully also to have a look at those short videos and the paintings that we'll be discussing on Wednesday. Looking forward to it. See you then.